I've been playing around with analytics tools for years, and I wanted to just do a bit of a comparison between the tools I've been using and also what you can do with AI now. And I found some incredibly interesting things, and that's what I'm going to go through in this video. And at the end, I'm going to talk you through what I believe is the perfect way to use all of these tools in combination. Let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm just going to do a running commentary on what I got up to. I did recordings throughout a day to run this comparison, and I wanted to create a Power BI report. I wanted to do some analysis in Excel, and I wanted to do some analysis in Code Interpreter. And as I was working through it, it's quite interesting. I discovered a lot of things. I really discovered how to use them in combination. To be honest, was one of the biggest findings. And I had some preferences in one area and in another area to use Power BI for one thing and others for other things. At the end of the day, right? I don't think we should be too precious in terms of like where we get the insights from. If we can get insights in a scalable way, I think that is the goal, right? I have a feeling that as we move along with in this new era of AI assistance, I think there's going to be multiple ways you can find insights. I honestly do. I think that all technologies we use will have some AI component embedded into them. So I think being a bit more versatile in how you actually run your analysis is actually a good strategy going forward. Okay, so we're just watching here. I'm just building out my Power BI report. I've done my work in Power Query Editor, which is where we've always got to go, and then I'm just building my model. Obviously, this video is sped up by a considerable amount, just so that you don't have to watch me work through everything. But I gave myself, half an hour, sometimes close to 45 minutes to work through something quite simple. I mean, we could go, I could spend hours. I could make this a very complicated report, particularly with Power BI. I could create some really comprehensive visualizations. I could use a whole lot of great features, but I just kept it really simple for this run because I just wanted to show you a quick comparison. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. I wanted to just really use these all in combination all at once and just get a really good feel for it. Okay, get a good feel for pros, cons, when to use one versus when to use another. And I think I discovered some really interesting things, which I'm going to summarize at the end of this video. Just see here that I've moved over into the Analyst tab just to go and get a bit of code. I went and got some date table code because I realized I didn't actually open my template in my Power BI report. By the way, we are actually going to be upgrading the Analyst hub very, very soon. We've got some really cool ideas about how we can embed AI into it. So there's going to be some big changes coming there very, very soon. But just doing a little bit more setup in Power Query. This is one thing I definitely, this is like the first insight I can highlight to you, is that Power BI takes a while to set up, right? It takes a while to set up a lot of these different things, and it takes some knowledge. You'd be amazed how many times I've gone and done training, and it's still to this day, and no one's using Power Query. No one even knows how to set up a model. And so, even though Power BI has been around for a long time now, it can sometimes be not that intuitive. Even though I wish it was, I truly wish it was. So that is one of the things that I have found compared to using other tools like Excel and Code Interpreter. I found obviously the setup we have to do in Power BI is a lot more, but in saying that, it's a lot more robust. So that is the trade-off that I think you need to make, or that you have to make. So I'm just building out my dashboard here. I didn't do anything fancy. And what you'll find as we work through this video is that I actually came back to Power BI quite a bit to improve my visualization after I'd done a bit of work in some other tools. And I found that fascinating. I truly did. And it actually goes along my thought process of we're in this AI assisted era. Like I truly believe that we're going to have assistance across all productivity work that we do, and that is absolutely true with data analytics. No doubt about it in my mind. Loving some of the new upgrades they've made to Power BI recently. I think if you haven't really dived into them, I just think the UI is just much better. It's definitely vastly improved, and I'm sure that there's going to be more improvements coming soon. I've seen a lot in the pipeline. Obviously, I don't like the colors here, but I will be certainly changing those very soon. I needed to make a little bit of an update to my date table to make sure that my filters within my report didn't go outside. I wanted to always have the right date filters in my report, no matter like where the data was, because this is quite a historic data set that I got, and that's been on. The dates were quite historic in the 2010s. So even though this video sped up, this didn't. This, even to get to this point, which always has amazed me, right? Is I have got a really comprehensive dashboard here, and I created this within 15-20 minutes. I honestly did. And then I obviously can make it look more fancy. I can add like lots of bells and whistles to it. I can improve the way that the filters work, which I will do in a second. And the ability to filter down into any insights quickly and easily is it's still so superior to other ways of finding insights, right? It still impresses me even to this day. Even to this day, I'm still amazed at how quickly and easily you can do this. Yes, sometimes your data isn't as perfect as what I used here. Yes, sometimes when you're just starting out, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, the options that you have to work with within Power BI. But if you can just get across some of the best practices, the basics, it's just amazing what you can do so quickly. I mean, for instance, in this particular model or report, I didn't actually create that many measures. I honestly didn't. I just created a few, and I was able to create something fantastic. And you'll see as we move along this video, as I sort of jump back to Power BI and create new insights quite quickly. Oh, you see here, I'm going to. This is a new page. I duplicated the page, and I'm just going to whip up a brand new, some brand new insights. I think I go into a small multiples visual here, which is so ridiculously easy to create. It's just crazy how easy it is. And one of the things that I probably underappreciate as well is that analytical thinking. It's that analytical mind, and this is one thing that really showed up to me as I was working through the recordings for this video and going through these examples. Was that I intuitively knew, okay, these are the insights I want to showcase. I intuitively knew this is the model that I need to showcase these insights, but I know that that doesn't come intuitively to everyone, and so you'll see later on that you can get that help, you can get that assistance across all of those different things with some AI assistance. And I did look, I did myself. I honestly did. I I got to a point where I was very happy with the report, but I wanted to make it better, right? And to make it better would either take a lot of mental energy from myself to like really focus and dive into the data, or I could get some assistance and some ideas. And I did. I absolutely did. We'll see that shortly. So those of you who have known me for a while know that I don't use Excel that extensively, particularly for visualization, because I have always been a very bought into what you can achieve at scale with Power BI. But you still can do a lot with Excel. And one of the things that I think I've been surprised at over the years is that Excel is still going so strong. It doesn't. It's not like Power BI has just come in and totally taken over Excel, and I think there's very good reasons for that. Excel is just incredibly dynamic, versatile. You can customize it for whatever you need to use it for, right? And I don't think that's going to change, even with AI. I just think the spreadsheet style is just so omnipresent everywhere that I just think it's always going to be around, right? And I think with a bit of Copilot, a bit of Microsoft Copilot embedded in there, with some other AI add-ins that you can put in, you can make your experience incredible in Excel. And so what I did in this example, as you can see as I'm working through it, is I was just building out some visualizations. I was using Excel for what it's good for: pivot tables, looking at actual numbers, right? Power BI is very visual focused, visualization focused, but Excel is very much inside the numbers, right? Looking at the numbers. And so I was just using the ribbon within the Excel environment, having a look around at what visualizations I could create. And it goes back to what I said earlier. I think we need to be versatile. I think if you can get the analysis in some format, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to use just one tool. I think there's going to be a lot of tools that you can use. And it's interesting that I think some tools are easier than others to get certain insights. Like what I would say about Excel, working through this example, is that from an ad hoc perspective, it was so much easier than using Power BI. I was able to get a few of these visualizations and insights, very specific things that I might want to showcase to someone, say in PowerPoint or just my own knowledge. Right, I was able to create it just like that. I didn't have to work through Power Query. I didn't have to work through building a model. I didn't have to build up measures, so on and so forth. I was able to just quickly get to the insight and be done. Okay, so that's always been, in my view, the massive positive with Excel is the ad hoc nature of it. You can really turn it into whatever you want. It really is up to your creativity. But you'll see here that I started to use some slices. I was working through how to show sort of ranking of things, how to then filter it by dates. And so some of the functionality that you can get inside of Power BI, you can still get inside Excel. There are certain limits, though. I mean, you can't build something robust. I think Excel crashed on me when I tried to do one visualization, which is pretty common, right? And also, I just don't feel like visually you can make it as compelling. You can put so many more visualizations and represent them in a far superior way when using Power BI. So that was obviously one of the major downsides with, and still is with using Excel. So it's got some positives, got some negatives, but I think that's why we should be using them in combination. Where it makes sense the most. And I'm going to show you, next when we jump into using AI, using OpenAI's code interpreter, how it can elevate things to another level, and you can use it as a standalone, but also use it in combination. And that was the thing that really blew me away. And I'll be showing you shortly as after we work through this Excel section. So just like my work through Power BI and Excel, I've got this on speed dial, my work through Code Interpreter, but I'll talk through what I asked here. So I loaded in some data and I asked, can you give me an overview of the data? It gave me a full rundown of all of the columns and key attributes of the data. I then asked, can you expand on the key metrics? And then it gave me all of these. That in itself just saves you so much time. It's insane. I mean, the ability to just get all of that insight before you do anything, like in other tools, even though it provides it to you in this tool, is incredible. It is incredible that you don't even have to figure that all out for yourself if you don't want. You can just get your help within the code interpreter environment here. I then asked to give me some time series analysis. And then I started digging into a lot of the information around our vendors, around our plants for this particular data set. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start, but this is like a supplier quality analysis. Then I jumped in and started to. I got the thing within Code Interpreter that I find quite interesting is that it is absolutely incredible at just like pumping out information to you. I mean, it can give you all the information you need so quickly, but it can sometimes get it wrong, which is a big issue. You don't know if the data in a lot of cases is actually private, so that's a huge issue. So it's just not really for prime time. But I'm a true believer in the future of it. I really, if they can clean up around the edges of some of these issues, the amount of time it saves, the amount of productivity gains you can get, the amount of help you can get for your other insights that you want to generate is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I was using, as I was, my plan with Code Interpreter was just to use it. It was within this example. And you'll see, I was jumping, this is what I was going to explain. I ended up jumping back and forth. I use Code Interpreter to assist what I was actually doing inside of Power BI. it helped me refine the insights that I showcased and refined the visualizations that I created. And I was able to double the analysis that I wanted to create inside of my report based on the findings that it told me, based on the action points, or what it told me to focus on in my analysis. And I find that absolutely incredible, right? You have this like sidekick sitting next to you, advising you on all of the key things that you should show in your report, right? Yes, it helps to have some sort of analytical intuition, some data storytelling skills, but you can get incredible support in showcasing what matters, showcasing what is going to engage, what is going to uh, add value to those who you're creating reports for. So it can help with the understanding of the data, but also with just like the visualizations, with the calculations. One of the great things that it showed me here was, okay, here are some outliers, right? Here are some outlier vendors that you work with, and that highlighted to me that I should go and create some ranking type visualization inside of Power BI so that I could showcase that insight, right? For me to go, I would have to go and find that. I would have to go and figure out where to show it, how to show it. But Code Interpreter basically led me down that path. It showed me what I needed to focus on within my own visualizations in Power BI. So it was my biggest finding in this project, right? Is that we don't have to choose one. We don't have to choose one. We can go between. Getting help with AI and implementing it ourselves in our Power BI reports or in whatever visualization report we create, right? Whether it's a dashboarding tool or whether it's a notebook tool or whether it's just ad hoc Excel charts, right? Like that ranking example I talked about, I could have just gone and find that inside in Excel if I really wanted to, right? I could have got help from the AI and found it. And that sort of thing, for example, if you were just working in Excel, understanding what were outliers in your data, what dates you should focus on your insights, what visualizations you should choose, what is the most meaningful analysis you can do. That used to take a long time. It used to take a long time. But you'll see here as I'm working through this latest part here is that I basically said, can you just tell me the key stories across this entire data set? And it told me. It told me. And I also checked it because I was worried that it might be wrong. But I went and checked all of the key insights that it had there. And it was all correct in this case. I will say I have used Code Interpreter before and it hasn't been correct. So it has actually told me totally incorrect things. So it's not bulletproof. But in this case, it really showcased it. So this was an example here. This was an outlier example. You see here, this visualization. I was just like playing around with some of the insights. I said, can you expand on it? And then it showed me, okay, here's some outliers. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to go get this into my Power BI report. And this is exactly what I did. So isn't that cool? Like that I think is one of the biggest takeaway from this particular video, right? Is how much it can assist. Now, you do need to be careful, right? Okay. I just want to highlight this again. Don't put data in here that you're not allowed to. Okay. It cannot be until some upgrades occur, you do not know if your data is private here, right? This is just a random data set. So there's no risk here. But even if you were building, say, your portfolio, if you were trying to do a challenge, if you were trying to just learn Power BI, like to me, getting support around it is like this, like what I sort of have figured out here is absolutely the way to go. No doubt in my mind. It can just improve what you're doing by 2 times, 3 times, and also speed it up, right? The hardest thing about analytics, I have found over the years to build something really superior, is the mental energy it takes to go and just figure it all out. You not only have to know the tool, but you've got to have this data savviness, and that's what I find this like really supports. It really supports it well. And you'll see here that I even in my Power BI report. So check this out. I asked ChatGPT, okay, what sort of recommendation? Not ChatGPT, Code Interpreter. I asked what sort of recommendations on this entire data set would you give me? What should I recommend? And it came up with, I think, 14 recommendations, something like that. Maybe 12. I'm not sure. no, 11, sorry, 11 recommendations that I should focus on. And it basically just intuitively knew all these from reading the data that I put in there, right? These are the sort of things that I would usually have had to come up with, right? But these are high quality suggestions. I mean, I might even show you what the suggestions are in a second, just to like really highlight the point. But it goes into, okay, this is what you should get your employees to do. This is what you should do with your vendors. This is the actions you should take at a plant level. Here are the ways to identify things earlier. Like, these are all like really value add things that you can get from analysis. And it was actually telling me, the AI was figuring that all out for me. Okay. And then I dived into like some date analysis. So I said, okay, what was the worst month and year for defects, for quality control? And it told me it was like October 2014. And so then I took that and I just dived into October 2014 in my data set and was able to very quickly see all of the insights in Power BI. So that's because that's what you can't do inside of CodeInterpret. You can't get that dynamic filtering that you can get inside of Power BI. But it was so easy for me to transfer the insights into my Power BI report. So I'm pumped. I am seriously pumped about the future here with using these tools in combination. Hopefully you are too. Now, I know that was a little bit quick, but it's just prompting a chatbot, really. Okay, nothing too difficult. So hopefully that was easy for you guys to see.